I thank the member for Fairfield. We're considering private member statements. I'm calling the member for Balmain.
Thank you very much, Mr Temporary Speaker. I rise today to address the important issue of public transport in my community and throughout New South Wales. The government this week released its draft Transport Master Plan, in which it outlines a direction for transport over the next 20 years. New South Wales needs a comprehensive approach to meeting our transport needs, and I'm pleased the government is taking a strategic approach. But I'm equally concerned about the focus on tollways and what I believe is a lack of focus on the important role of light rail. I've been a very long-time campaigner on light rail in my community and acknowledge the role of councils and the wider community in winning the extension of the light rail to Dulwich Hill. Of course, we still campaign for the inclusion of the important Greenway, and again, I renew that call today. Light rail has the potential to play a key role in our city's transport system, connecting with other transport options and providing fast, reliable and environmentally sustainable transport. Light rail is fast and cheap, and when I say cheap, relatively cheap of course, and fast to build compared to the other alternatives. Now, light rail has a capacity of up to 720 passengers in each set, even with a modest carriage configuration. This means it has a carrying capacity of up to 20,000 passengers per hour in each direction. To put that in perspective, one tram carrying 200 passengers is equivalent to a single line of peak traffic 2 kilometres long. A tram line can carry 7,500 people an hour compared to a general traffic lane which can carry less to 2,000 people an hour. Light rail is also more effective than buses in moving large numbers of commuters without the noise impacts, pollution, and will also have the added benefit of reducing city bus congestion, which impacts the entire network. Anyone who's stood on Parramatta Road will tell you the noise of buses is one of the factors that makes it so unlivable and unworkable for business. There are two viable and important opportunities for light rail in my electorate that will benefit all of Sydney: Parramatta Road and Light Rail and White Bay Extension. It's generally agreed that Parramatta Road is a classic traffic sewer. Congestion is a real issue, and the way to solve this is not to invest, say, $8 or $12 billion in some mega project that Nick Grinder's thought up, like the M4 East. A staged light rail plan can revitalise this important corridor, reduce traffic and eliminate the need for the M4 East. It's important to note that only around 6,000 cars in the 2-hour period, the 2-hour peak period, pass through Taverners Hill. Integrated light rail linked to the Dulwich Hill extension will create a loop which will significantly reduce this peak hour, along with dedicated park and ride stations. The expansion of the light rail network in Sydney will significantly alleviate the pressures on our bus network and markedly reduce traffic congestion. So why would the government consider spending, say, $8 to $12 billion on the M4 East when in the peak the traffic is a mere 6,000 vehicles in that 2-hour peak? So billions of dollars for 6,000 cars. The global experience demonstrates that light rail on the doorstep encourages retail, commercial and residential options, and the location actually becomes livable. I call on the Minister to consider this option as part of the reviewing of the draft master plan and also the strategic plan for light rail. The other critical light rail link is the retention, of course, of the existing goods line corridor to White Bay and Balmain in order to allow for the expansion of light rail in the future. In response to a question to the Minister yesterday in Parliament, I'm pleased that the Minister for Transport stated that the development of the White Bay Cruise Terminal does not preclude future development of light rail in that precinct, and it can be examined in the future. Now, this link is important. It will run off the Roselle goods yards where the current line already exists, move along the Balmain waterfront, which is a subject of a major redevelopment, strengthening the economic viability and accessibility of the precinct. There's also the potential for a very short tunnel into Gladstone Park in Balmain, which already has a huge disused water reservoir underneath, which will provide for a station in the middle of a highly populated area next to a hospital, local businesses and link just minutes to the city. The light rail needs patronage, and the Gladstone Park link would deliver this in spades. I also note that a public transport lobby group, Eco Transit, has a proposal to extend the light rail to Barangaroo, which would integrate and enliven the northwest CBD, including Barangaroo and the Walsh Bay Theatre precinct. I also encourage the government to examine this option. I will be developing and consulting on these plans in the coming months, and I encourage the government to consider this as part of this draft document and the Sydney Light Rail Strategic Plan. I wanted to thank all those local residents that attended the public meetings that I held. I held a range of public meetings in my electorate to ask the local community and business what their views were on the draft transport master plan. And I also believe that there is a real challenge that this minister and government has, but I urge her and the former Premier Greiner that they have a chance to change the transport paradigm here in New South Wales for a cleaner, vibrant greener and livable New South Wales, a chance to give the people of New South Wales the public transport options they are demanding, and to promote the kind of cultural change that can help make New South Wales and Sydney a much more livable community. Thank you.
I thank the member for Balmain. We're considering private member statements.